As CEO of CRYPTSY, he makes all your dark coin trading possible. Please welcome Mr. Vernon.
Good morning. Is this on? Yeah. Welcome to Florida. Everybody always asks me why I started a Bitcoin business in South Florida, and if you go outside, you'll see why. So my topic is from Bitcoin to Dogecoin. And I came up with a joke this morning when I was in the shower. Do you guys want to hear it? Yeah? Okay. So Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Dogecoin are at an expensive restaurant. And it comes time to pay the bill. And Bitcoin says, I'll pay 1 Bitcoin. I'll put in 1 Bitcoin. Litecoin says, I'll put in 100 Litecoin. And Bitcoin and Litecoin look at Dogecoin, and they ask him, what are you going to put in? He says, just the tip. Yeah, thanks. So, an alternate topic of this would be, how the heck did we end up with all these altcoins, from Bitcoin to Dogecoin? But when I started mining Bitcoin, this was back in 2011. It was pretty easy. I just put together a rig with a GPU, stuck it in the living room of my house, turned it on, started mining Bitcoins. Back then, it was only worth maybe $2, $1. And so I don't know exactly how I got started into it, but I must have read something on the internet, and it sounded exciting, it sounded new. So I wanted to be a part of something new and exciting and try it out, plus I love computers. So I like putting things together. You got to feel like a hacker. I'm hacking something, I'm making something. There's crypto, that sounds really cool. Part of a new community. So there's all these new people that you meet all over the world that are into this new thing called Bitcoin. You're talking on forums and telling people, oh yeah, I got 10 Bitcoin, I made 20 Bitcoin. What are you going to do with it? I don't know. I'll just hold on to it for now. So the problem was it was low value. So I had this thing sitting in the living room, generating heat. The wife was complaining about the noise, about the heat, about she wouldn't even go in the living room anymore. And she was, why do you have this in here? I'm generating Bitcoins. Well, what do you get from that? $1. But it was fun. And also, I didn't have, back then, didn't really have any place to spend it. I mean, you could trade it with other people who were doing Bitcoin, but that was it. You couldn't go to a merchant and buy something with Bitcoin. And plus, it was only worth like $1, so it's not like you could buy a lot anyway. So after a few months in 2011, I started getting bored with it because it just wasn't worth anything, and I was getting tired of the wife complaining about the heat and the noise, and so I turned it off. Then all of a sudden, 2013, I start reading these stories about Bitcoin again. I was like, oh, Bitcoin, yeah, Bitcoin. I think I still have some Bitcoin. And hey, it's $100. Wow. So that day after I read that article, I ran home, went to my computer. Thankfully, I still use the same computer I was using back when I was mining Bitcoins. And I had a wallet. After I downloaded the chain, synced up, I had a wallet with Bitcoin. I was like, wow, I just made a buttload of money. So renewed my interest. So I got the rig out of the garage, stuck it back in the living room, turned it on, started generating heat and noise again, but I wasn't generating Bitcoin because the difficulty was much too high for a single GPU to generate Bitcoin. So I started looking around in the community again. What are people talking about with Bitcoin? Let's go to these forums, go to Bitcoin Talk and see what's going on. And I stumbled across a thread on altcoins, and they were talking about Litecoin. And Litecoin had just been launched. And so I said, oh, what's Litecoin? That sounds interesting too. So I made some adjustments to my miner, started mining Litecoin. And it was easy because it just launched, the difficulty was low, there wasn't a lot of people mining it. So again, generating heat in the living room, I'm happy that I'm generating something. It's not worth Bitcoin, but it's, you know, it's something cool. So what I do, I go buy more GPUs and generate more heat, and get more complaints from the wife. So that was my first altcoin. So I got into this cycle, and a lot of GPU miners got into this cycle of you start running your GPU rig, and you're making a bunch of coins, and then the difficulty gets high, and now you're not generating coins anymore. So now somebody comes out with another coin. So I think the second coin I started generating, the script coin, was Feathercoin. So install Feathercoin, daemon, start mining Feathercoin. Difficulty goes up again, start all over again. I think the next one was Mincoin. So I think I ran through about 20 different altcoins. And I had 20 different pools, so I started getting other people mining these coins with me too. And we were all in the same race with GPU mining. Mine the coin, wait till the difficulty rises. You can no longer make the coin, go to the next coin. So that's how we started generating all these different altcoins, because once it got too hard, somebody would just say, I'll just make a new coin. You know, no problem. So we ended up with hundreds of these new cryptocurrencies. Everybody's a developer, because the code is open source, and changing the variables of these coins to create something new is just a matter of replacing some numbers inside the code and recompiling. So we have people who don't even program are making cryptocurrencies. Now, they can't provide any support if anything goes wrong, but hey, they have a crypto, and yeah, I have, okay, this is better because it has 1 minute block times, and you get 10,000 coins per block, and you know, it's awesome, mine it. But there's only subtle differences. So it wasn't really anything different, it was just something, right? And most of these coins didn't really have a lot of community support. So it would just be one guy pushing his coin, saying, mine my coin. There'd be, you know, maybe 20, 30, 50 miners mining it, but they didn't really care about the coin. They just wanted to mine something that they could sell. But there were some outliers. So we have a coin such as Dogecoin, which was really no different than any of these other altcoins, and started off as a joke, and just kind of went out on a tangent, had this huge community following, and just explosive community growth. And that's what really drives a lot of these coins, is the community. If you don't have a community, then you don't really have a coin, you just have a piece of software. There were some coins that came out with some meaningful changes, like changing script and come out with different algorithms, X11, X12, X15. You had people who were actually developers making coins that could actually support the coin. If something happens, they would get in and fix it. Everybody knew who the developer was. So these are coins that do really well because there are people actively working with the coin. There's people talking about the coin, using the coin for different things. Like Dogecoin, they were using it for tipping on Reddit. So it got very popular on Reddit. Payment acceptance. I mean, if you want to use a coin, you have to have people who take the coin as a method of payment. Bitcoin's a big one, but not a lot of people take Litecoin, not a lot of people take Dogecoin, hardly any people take Feathercoin. So if nobody's willing to take your coin as a method of payment, then its use is limited. And exchange volume. If you can't go to an exchange and exchange your coin for something that is useful or easily spendable, like Bitcoin, then it doesn't matter how many you have. You're not going to be able to do anything with it. So some things we found by playing around with these hundreds of new cryptocurrencies. We came up with new algorithms, new proof of work algorithms. There's script in, X11, a lot of different things. We found out that 10-second blocks are not a really good idea. I mean, you want a fast network, but you don't want to have to download a 10 gigabyte chain, right? So those are bad. We found new types of blockchains, completely new coins. So people came out and said, okay, I have a whole new idea, and I'm not just going to clone Bitcoin. I'm gonna create something new. So you had, Ripple and NXT and these other alternate chains that had some really good ideas. Staking. You had more people using staking because we had this cycle of this mining cycle where people would just mine a coin until the difficulty went too high, and then they would abandon. And now you're stuck with the high difficulty. Now with staking, you have people who have the coins and they can still generate blocks. So the chain still continues to move even if nobody's mining it, which is a really good thing for a lot of these altcoins. New distribution models. So we have coins such as Aurora Coin, which decided they wanted to airdrop coins to a whole country. Whether or not these people knew what cryptocurrency was or not, but I mean, these are just different ideas of how to distribute coins. We had clams where if you already had Bitcoin in your wallet at a certain date, if you had Bitcoin like on a Dogecoin in your wallets, then you could go to Clam, import your wallets, and now you have clams. That's an interesting distribution model because it didn't matter how much Bitcoin you had. Even if you had 0.01 Bitcoin, you'd still end up with 4.6 clams. Some interesting coins that I decided to point out. Litecoin, is one of the I wouldn't say the first altcoins, but it was definitely one of the most popular. It was just a straight-up clone of Bitcoin with a change in the proof of work algorithm. Huge community. Devs are great. So when you have community and devs, then it's going to do well. Dogecoin, they're hugely popular, but they started having some network stability stuff, so they went to Ox POW. It's basically merge mine. You have Ripple, which was not a clone of Bitcoin at all. It's a completely different network. And Darkcoin, X11. Pennies, that wanted to be a CPU-only coin, but it ended up having a bad staking algorithm, and there was trillions of those out there. Unbreakable coin, another clone, but the dev is really active. Not a huge community, but the dev is really, really active with that one. Aurora, they had their distribution model. Prime, that's a different proof of work algorithm where they're actually searching for prime numbers. I don't know how useful it is, but it's something different. Zifter, they're integrating their coin into to something that they're already doing. They already have a business going, and now they want to integrate a coin into their existing business model. Let's talk about Litecoin a little bit. It's launched in 2011. So this is after I started mining Bitcoin, but I didn't actually start mining Litecoin until 2013. But it was still easy enough to mine with the GPU. It had faster block times than Bitcoin. And what I liked about Litecoin is it helped renew interest in a lot of these miners who didn't want to buy 100 GPUs. Maybe they just had the GPU in their existing computer. They could do something. They could feel like they're a part of something by mining this new coin. So it spurred interest in creating more altcoins and, in turn, new algorithms, proof of work, proof of stake, different variables. So this was kind of like the father of altcoins. Dogecoin, this launched in 2013. It was a script proof of work, just like Litecoin. I think it was a straight clone. And it got really popular. There's a lot of people mining it. But then they started having some network stabilization issues. Not as many people were mining it. They were worried about, a fork, because a lot of people were using it and they didn't want the chain to fork. So they decided to do auxiliary proof of work, which a lot of people didn't like, but a lot of people did. I think it helped. It didn't help the price, but I think it helped stabilize that coin. It's on our exchange, Dogecoin is probably the most stable price-wise coin that we have, and it has a very high volume as well. It's a huge community following, especially if you go to Reddit. That's probably one of the more popular cryptocurrency Reddit pages is Dogecoin. And I already talked that one. Ripple, this is not just a currency, it's actually a whole payment system. So has a whole new code base, different network. It supports IOUs, so you don't always have to send XRP. You can send Bitcoin, you can send Litecoin, and you don't even have to send the Litecoins through the network. You're just sending an IOU. So it has these gateways on each end where you can redeem your IOUs. Now there's a lot more to understand with Ripple, so there's a lower adoption rate because not a lot of people understand what all this does. Zifter, this is geared towards more mainstream use. These guys, trying to tie it more in with everyday products that you're using. They already have a website up where you can search for products and get the best price on a product throughout the internet. And so they want to put it together with your existing shopping process. New merchant tools. They're helping your grandmother learn how to use cryptocurrency. And that's really important, because if your grandmother doesn't use Bitcoin or any cryptocurrency, then the adoption rate is going to be really low. Your grandmother's probably still writing checks. She's not using debit card or credit cards anymore. Pennies. Now this was a good idea because it was geared towards CPU only, and everybody has a CPU that has a computer, so anybody can participate. You just download the wallet, start running it, and what we found was the proof of staking algorithm didn't work out as expected. So what we ended up with was trillions of pennies from proof of stake. And I had trillions of these. And so everybody else had trillions of these as well. And on CRYPTSY, we couldn't support the price because it wasn't even worth a Satoshi. It wasn't even worth a Satoshi of Litecoin. So it was off the exchange for a while until we found a coin to pair it with, but it's still extremely low price. I mean, you can buy 1 trillion of these for less than a Bitcoin. So what's going to happen to all these stale altcoins now that we have hundreds and hundreds of them? Because not everybody's going to mine every single altcoin out there, and they're not going to use every single altcoin out there. And the biggest killer of these altcoins is going to be lack of community support. If you don't have people who like it or want to use it or want to talk about it, then it's just going to get forgotten. And without the community, there's not going to be a market. Everybody can't support every single coin out there. Like, I can't go out there and say, I support this coin, 200 coins. Yes, I have a 200 coin t-shirt. But what we can do is learn from the mistakes that we make with all these altcoins. We know that, this proof of stake algorithm was bad. This 10-second block time was bad. Let's not use that. So when we go to create new coins that actually have meaning, we know what to do. So what's next for altcoins? We're going to start seeing less and less of these generic clones because nobody likes seeing these anymore. Nobody likes seeing just a generic clone out there because they're just so tired of them now. You're going to start seeing more sponsored coins, more coins that go along with corporate entities or shopping experiences, and loyalty systems. And that's all I have. You can follow me on Twitter at CRYPTSY, and if you want to send me an email, there's my email address. Thank you very much.